everyone, this is Julie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, in this video, I will be demonstrating the Prometric testable skill gives partial bed bath. This skill is performed on a mannequin, okay? I know it's a long time coming. I've been trying to study up on these skills and trying to figure out the best way to perform them, okay? So this video will be with step-by-step instructions, okay? Hey, look, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, people, smash that subscribe button, okay? And kick the like button on this video and all of my other videos. You doing so actually helps my videos and my channel become more recognizable here in YouTube and also on Google. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload new content, you can go ahead and ring that notification bell, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is knock on the door, of course, right? And I'm going to enter, address the resident by both name and title, introduce myself by both name and title, and explain what I'm going to do. Hi, Mrs. Jones. My name is Julie. I'm your CNA, and today I'm going to give you a partial bed bath. But first, I'm going to do a brief safety check. I just want to make sure that your bed is in a low safe position. Your bed wheels are locked. Here's your call light. I'm going to provide you with privacy. And I'm going to go ahead and lower your head of bed, because I'll be giving you a bed bath. So, you know, you can always set up your area before you go collect your supplies, and I would suggest you do that because you're going to be nervous during testing and you don't want to forget, okay? So even if the bed is in a semi-Fowler's position, you want to make sure that you place the resident in a supine position, head of bed completely flat, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to go wash my hands, gather my supplies, and I'll be right back. Before you gather your supplies, you have to verbalize washing hands, okay? You have to with Prometric. All right, so because Prometric supplies at the test site are going to be right next to the bed, which is awesome, right? I'm just going to go ahead and bring my table over here, the overbed table. I'm going to grab one towel and I'm going to place it on the overbed table for my clean area. And now I can go ahead and start collecting my supplies. And when I collect my supplies, I'm going to collect them in the manner in which I am going to use them, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is collect one pair of gloves. I'm going to collect a privacy blanket. Now you can use, you know, like a sheet, or you can use one of those large bath towels, okay? Whatever the test site has, all right? So I'm going to use a blanket. You will need 2 towels, okay? One to dry and one to lay down as a protective barrier. You'll need 5 washcloths. Okay. I'm sorry, the camera lost track of me here because I bent down too far. So let's see if I can get it back on track with me there. There we go. All right. So 5 washcloths, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One is going to be to wash the face. One is going to be to wash the neck and chest and torso area, arm, hand, and one underarm. The 3rd washcloth is to rinse those previous areas. The 4th washcloth is going to be used to wash the back, and the 5th washcloth is going to be used to rinse the back, okay? So I'm going to set these over here. Try to scoot them out the way a little bit. And then On the bedside or in the bedside stand, if the test site has a bedside stand, this is where you will find your bath basin, soap, and lotion. And usually they will have the lotion and soap in the basin, okay? And yes, you will need to collect lotion because this is actually a two-part skill, right? You're going to give the person a partial bed bath, and then you are also going to give them a back rub. All right, so I'm just going to take this out and set it up here. So now, oh, I forgot, you need a clean gown. Almost forgot, right? Oh, and the camera lost me again. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm using a Pivo so it can track my movement, and it keeps losing track of me whenever I bend down low. So you will need a clean gown also, right? So a lot of supplies here. I'm gonna go ahead and stack these towels on top of each other so I can have some extra room, okay? And why do I train my students to organize their supplies on the table in the order that they're going to use them? It's for a couple of reasons. One, you know, it will help cue them as to or onto what step they need to perform next, and also it will cue them if they forgot a supply, okay? So now that I have all my supplies together, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the skill, okay? So I'll knock on the door. Hi, Mrs. Jones, it's me, Julie, your CNA. I'm back with my supplies. What I'm going to go do is wash my hands and fill the basin with water, okay? And I'll be right back. So, now you'll go ahead and fill the basin with water. I'm just walking a little slow to make sure that it follows me, the camera. All right, hopefully you all can hear me. What I'm doing is I'm filling the water, or filling the basin with water. I'm not going to put a lot of water in the basin because I don't want the basin to be too heavy, right? If you want to test the water while you are filling the basin, you can do so. Just make sure you verbalize it out loud, okay? Hi, Mrs. Jones, I'm back. I filled the basin with water. I'm just going to test the water. You want to make sure you test the water first before you have the resident to test the water. All right, Mrs. Jones, the water feels good to me. Now I would like for you to test it to make sure it is a good temperature for you. The NAE should speak for the mannequin. You do not have to place the mannequin's hand in the water. All right, great. Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to remove your call light and set it on your bedside stand. Prometric is really huge on body mechanics, right? So if you are 6 feet tall and the bed is, 2 feet low, you want to go ahead and raise the bed to a height that's comfortable for you, okay? Just remember to lower it back to a safe low position before you state skill complete. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to raise your bed just a little bit to a height that's comfortable for me because I don't want to strain my back or my leg muscles. All right? There we go. And the first thing that I'm going to do, Mrs. Jones, is cover you with a privacy blanket. Now, this privacy blanket serves as a couple of, reasons as to why you would place the privacy blanket. One is for privacy, right? Two is for dignity, so you won't overexpose the person. 3 is to keep the person warm while you are bathing them. And 4 is to ensure that the top sheet does not get wet or soiled, okay? Now, when you're placing this blanket, you want to make sure you unroll it and do not shake it open. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just placing your privacy blanket. You want to make sure that it covers the person from their chest to over their feet, okay? Chest to over their feet. Now, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to lower your top sheet, okay, because I want to make sure it does not get wet. So now what I'm doing is just lowering Mrs. Jones's top sheet just below her waist, right? So it won't get wet. Now I'm gonna just remove the privacy blanket so you can see how far down I have the top sheet, okay? And this is just so it will not get wet. All right, Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones, if you could, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my gloves now, okay? And then after I put on my gloves, I'm gonna help you sit up so I can remove your gown. So now I'm putting on my gloves. All right, Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, I'm gonna help you sit up, okay? 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And you see where I have my hand? I have my hand on her chest, right, to keep the top sheet or the privacy blanket in place. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to go ahead and lie you down. And guys, I'm so sorry about this camera. It keeps losing track of me whenever something gets in the way. So what I did was I assisted Mrs. Jones into a sitting position so I could untie her neck strap. Mrs. Jones, I'm going to remove the right side of your gown. Now, I'm not lifting up Mrs. Jones's arm, so I really don't have to support the joint. But if you lift up her arm, make sure you are supporting both her elbow and wrist joints. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just moving your gown over to the left side. And I'm going to walk over to the other side. Ooh, guys, I tell you, this pivot just keeps losing track of me. All right. So now, Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to remove your gown from the left side. Again, I'm not lifting her arm, so I don't have to support her underneath her elbow or wrist joints. But if you do lift her arm, please make sure you do that. Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to remove your gown. When you remove it, you want to make sure you roll it away from you. Make sure it does not touch your clothing, okay? All right, there we go, Mrs. Jones. And then you'll want to immediately dispose of it into the soiled linen hamper. Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to go dispose of your gown into the soiled linen hamper. Okay, I'm just making sure that the pivot is following me. All right, so we dispose the gown into the soiled linen hamper. All right, Mrs. Jones, I am back. I'm going to place a towel underneath your head and arm, okay? So this is the first towel. We're using it as a protective barrier. I'm going to place it, if you can lift your head up for me, Mrs. Jones, underneath her head and neck and underneath the arm that I will be cleaning. All right. All right, Mrs. Jones. So the first thing that I'm going to do is wash her face. I'm going to wet the washcloth, okay? Squeeze it out really good because you don't want water dripping all over the place, right? I am not going to put soap on the washcloth. I'm going to use the 4 open corners or leaves, right? So you have 4 leaves to ensure that I use a clean area of the washcloth with each stroke while I am cleaning her face. You want to start out, you want to hold your washcloth to where it's not dangling at the end. So I'm just going to fold it up underneath me so I have it held in my hand like this, okay, with the open corners. You want to start with the eyes. You want to clean from the inner canthus to the outer canthus. Mrs. Jones, I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning your face, starting with your eyes. Okay, I'm cleaning from the inner canthus to outer canthus. I'm going to flip one leaf over for a clean area of the washcloth. Clean your other eye from inner canthus to outer canthus. Flip the washcloth over. Clean one side of your face. Flip the washcloth over. Clean the other side of your face. Now, since I haven't used the closed corners, I'm going to go ahead and use either side to clean the bridges, the sides of the bridge of the nose. Mrs. Jones, I'm just cleaning one side of the bridge of your nose. I'm going to flip this closed corner over and clean the other side. All right, good job. Now I'm just going to hang this washcloth over the basin. I'm going to take the second towel and I'm going to pat dry Mrs. Jones's face. Ms. Jones, I'm just going to dry your face. This is one of the most forgotten steps, okay? The drying of the face and the removal of the gown. So that's why you want to make sure that, removing the gown is one of the first things you do, and do not forget to dry the face. All right. So now I'm going to take my second washcloth, and this is the washcloth that I'm going to use to clean behind the ears, the neck, the entire torso, her left flank, and her left arm, hand, and underarm. So I'm going to wet the washcloth, squeeze it out really good. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to squirt soap in it. And to let the NAE know that soap should be all over the washcloth, I'm just going to spread the soap around. Now, this washcloth, you don't have to use a clean area with each stroke, okay? Because from the neck down, or from the neck and the torso area and the arms are assumed to be intact, okay? So you don't have to keep trying to find a clean area. So the first thing I'm going to do, again, I have it wrapped up because I don't want the washcloth dangling, okay? So Mrs. Jones, I'm going to clean behind your ears and clean behind your other ear. And now I'm going to wash your neck. I'm going to wash your chest. You want to make sure you keep her covered underneath your breast and your tummy. And then I'm going to clean your sides, all right? So what I'm going to do now is uncover Mrs. Jones, and I'm going to repeat the washing as to how I just did it so you can actually see, okay? But you do not do this during testing until the NAE asks you to pull down the privacy blanket, okay? Because they need to see how you're washing also. So I'm just pulling down her privacy blanket to her hips, and I washed one ear, behind the other ear, and then I washed her neck, and then I washed her chest and underneath her breast. And if you'd like, you can use your hand to show that you know you need to lift up the person's breast, and then her stomach area and on her side, okay? All right, so now I'm going to cover Mrs. Jones back up. All right, Mrs. Jones, now I'm going to clean your arm. I'm going to uncover your left arm, all right? And then you want to start from the shoulder and work your way down, making sure you support her underneath her joints whenever you lift her arm up. I'm cleaning her hand and her fingers and fingernails, and then I'm cleaning her armpit, okay, underneath her arm. All right, there we go. Just going to cover you back up. This washcloth I'm going to place over the bin. Then I'm going to take my third washcloth, and the areas that I just washed, I'm going to rinse. So you don't want to put soap on your third washcloth, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just rinsing off the soap behind your ears, your neck, and your chest, underneath your breast, your stomach, and your sides. I'm going to expose your left arm so I can rinse the soap off, starting from the shoulders, working my way down to the hand and finger and fingernails, and underneath your arm or your armpit. Okay, and I'm going to cover you back up. This washcloth, I'm going to place over the basin, and hold on guys, I'm just gonna walk in front of the camera real quick. I tell you, this Pivo. There we go. Alright, hopefully, yeah, there we go. Alright, so I apologize for these interruptions. Now I'm going to take the same towel that I used to dry her face to dry those areas that I just washed, okay? Mrs. Jones, I'm just drying behind your ears, in your neck, in your chest. I'm just pat drying your tummy and on your sides. And then I'm going to expose this arm, and I'm going to pat dry your arm, hand, fingers, and nails. Making sure I support underneath your joints when I lift your arm, and then I'm drying underneath your armpit. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this arm covered back up. I'm going to place this towel back on the table. And now what you need to do is clean Mrs. Jones's back, right? So remember, we already have the protective barrier down on the bed, right? So at this time, because Prometric does not score on the raising or lowering of side rails, you do not have to do that, okay? If you feel like you want to, you can, but you know, like I always say, you don't want to do more than what is required of you to do, because that actually wastes time, okay? The only thing that Prometric is concerned with is that when you turn the person on their side, that they are not dangerously close to the edge, okay? So what I'm going to do is have Mrs. Jones move closer towards me before I turn her. Mrs. Jones, if I could have you scooch closer towards me. On the count of 3, I'll help you, okay? 1, 2, and 3. And so I'm just placing my arm on her shoulder and one on her leg, and I'm scooching her closer towards me, okay? So when I turn her, she won't be dangerously close to the edge. All right, Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, I'm going to turn you. If you could bend your knee for me. And I'm going to place my hand, one hand on your knee, one hand behind your shoulder blade, and on the count of 3, we're going to turn, okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, good job. Now, you may have a hard time trying to hold up the mannequin, right? Let me get her covered up. At this time, you can ask the NAE or proctor to help you, okay? Or to help you hold the mannequin, all right? But Mrs. Jones seems to be doing fine on her own, yay! So I'm just gonna make sure that I have the protective blanket or towel underneath her back area. I'm going to take my 4th washcloth, okay? I'm going to place soap. I'm gonna make sure I get the soap on all areas of the washcloth, and I'm just going to go ahead and fold it back up. And now what I'm doing is washing Mrs. Jones's back, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just washing your back, all right? And now I'm going to make sure she cover her up. I'm going to take my 5th washcloth, and I'm going to rinse Mrs. Jones's back, okay? So do not put any soap on your 5th washcloth. So it's going to be your 1st, 3rd, and 5th washcloth. You do not place soap. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm just going to rinse your back. Okay. Cover you back up. I'm going to place this washcloth on the side of the basin. I'm going to take my towel and pat dry Mrs. Jones's back. All right. And now, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to give you a back massage, okay? So once you dried her back, all you have to do is squirt some lotion in your hand, rub it in your hands to get it warm, okay? And then you are going to massage Mrs. Jones's back by going in a circular motion from the lower back all the way to the upper back, okay? And you want to do this 3 times. All right, Mrs. Jones, so I'm just massaging your back. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to run over to the other side, and I'm going to turn Mrs. Jones over so y'all can see exactly how I did the massage, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, I'm going to turn you back over on your back. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Good job. All right. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to come over here so you all can see how I did the back massage. Miss Jones, I'm going to pull you closer towards me. All right. And then I'm just going to turn her on her back. Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, I'm going to turn you away from me. You can bend your knee. 1, 2, 3. Good job. All right. All right, guys. So hopefully you can see her back. And hopefully she will say yes. So what I did, after I put the lotion on, I just moved my hands in a circular motion, sorry guys, up her back, okay? I did both hands. I'm holding her with one hand so you all can see, okay? But you want to use both hands. And I just did like a circular motion from her lower back all the way to her upper back. And I did it 3 times, okay? 2 and 3. Again, you want to use both hands. I'm only using one hand now because Mrs. Jones doesn't want to cooperate and stay on her side by herself, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn her back over. I'm just going to get her repositioned how she was. All right. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the other side. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to go ahead and remove this towel. Ooh, let me fix her wig. All right. I'm going to remove this towel from underneath you. Again, you want to roll away and pull towards you, making sure the towel does not touch you. Okay. Mrs. Jones, I'm going to pull up your sheet. Ooh, this sheet went all the way down. So I'm just pulling up her sheet now. Just to your waist. I'm going to place your gown on now, Mrs. Jones. Actually, you know, I think I probably would have waited to pull the sheet up before I put her gown on, but it doesn't matter, okay? So, Mrs. Jones, if you could, I'm just going to lower your privacy blanket. I'm going to support your elbow and wrist. I'm going to lift her arm up so y'all can see how I'm supporting both her elbow joint and her wrist joint at the same time, okay, just like this. But the first thing I'm going to do is place my hand in the sleeve of the gown and then support both her elbow and wrist joints. There she goes. Place her arm in, and then I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Now, I know y'all are probably thinking, oh my gosh, this is taking so long, but you have to keep in mind that I'm giving you step-by-step instructions as I perform this skill, okay? So you want to take off maybe, 7 to 10 minutes, okay? And that should give you a good estimate of how long this skill is going to take you to perform, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, let me get this arm here. I'm going to expose it. Now you see I'm placing my arm inside the sleeve and I'm supporting her elbow and wrist joints. If I can get this over her fingers, we'll be good to go. There we go. All right. All right, Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, I'm going to assist you to a seated position so I can tie the neck straps of your gown, okay? 1, 2, 3. We're going to sit up. There we go. You see how I'm holding her gown in place, right? And then now I can actually tie. You just want to tie it in a bow. All right, Mrs. Jones, on the count of 3, you can lie back down. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now that I have her gown on, I'm going to go ahead and remove the privacy blanket. Rolling it away from me. And I'm going to pull up, oh guys, I'm sorry. There we go. I'm going to pull up her sheet. Alright. Get you all nice and warm. I'm going to go ahead and take the privacy blanket and dispose of it because it's so big and heavy into the soiled linen hamper. I'm going to collect all of my linen and dispose of it. I'm just rolling it up. Dispose of it into the soiled linen hamper. Okay. Then I'm going to go empty, rinse, and dry my basin. Follow me. Okay? So I'm emptying the water into the sink. I'm rinsing the basin. I'm emptying the rinse into the sink. And now I'm drying the basin. And you want to make sure you dry it out really good because you're going to be placing the lotion and soap back into the basin. So I'm also drying the outside. I'm disposing of the paper towel. Okay. I'm going to get another paper towel and I'm going to bring it close up to y'all. So, because my gloves are dirty, right? So I just got another clean, dry paper towel for the basin. And I'm going to tear off a little piece of this, right? And I'm going to grab the soap, the lotion and the soap with a piece of the paper towel. I'm going to open the door to the bedside stand, and then I'm going to place the basin back into the bedside stand drawer. And let me get back over here so y'all can see me. All right, okay. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, it lost my tracking. Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, and so now I'm going to throw this paper towel away. I'm going to remove my gloves without contaminating myself. I'm going to verbalize washing my hands. Then, remember, I raised the height of bed, right? So now I'm going to make sure that I lower it back to a safe low position before I say skill complete. Mrs. Jones, I'm going to go ahead and lower your bed back into a low, safe position. There we go. We'll put your bedside overbed table back over here. Your wheels are still locked. I'm going to give you your call light in your hand. There we go. Call light in your hand. So bed low safe. Bed wheels are locked, call light in hand, privacy is maintained. You want to think, okay, for a few seconds to make sure you did not omit any steps or you did not perform any steps incorrectly, because you can always make self-corrections as long as you make them before you say skill complete and if you still have enough time on your testing. And I think I did everything okay. So I'm going to verbalize washing hands again, because you can never say it too much, right? And then skill complete. Yay! I did it. All right, guys. That was the Prometric testable skill. Gives partial bed bath and back rub, right? So it's a two-part skill. You give the partial bed bath first, and then you will give the person a back rub. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Guys, I'm working really hard to get more of the Prometric testable skills videos out here. It's just taking me a little longer because I am extremely busy. But again, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, guys, come on now, smash that subscribe button, okay? Click the like button on this video and all of my other videos. And don't forget, ring that notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload new content. Again, thank you all so much for your support, your dedication, and your loyalty to my channel. Mwah! I can't say enough how much I love you guys. Take care. See y'all later. Ciao.